Hello everyone, welcome to Barca News. It is March 8th, 2025, and for the first time since being sacked as Barcelona's manager, Xavi Hernandez has given an interview where he reflected on his time as Barcelona's coach, where he admitted making some mistakes, and where he even explained where it all went wrong within the club, and finally, what his plans are next. We have a lot to discuss, so let's begin. Hello everyone, welcome to the channel. My name is Mo, and today we begin this video with incredibly sad news because, as you know, today's match between Barcelona and Osasuna was postponed after the sudden passing away of the first team's doctor, Carlos Miñarro Garcia, who passed away at the young age of 50 at a hotel where the team were staying, called the Hotel Melina Gran Melia. It seems that when the team was supposed to, when the staff member were supposed to meet right before heading to the match, Dr. Miñarro did not come down. When he went looking for him in the room, they found that he had passed away at the young age of 50. Incredibly sad news. The team was not aware of this news. In fact, they arrived to the stadium ready for the match, and then finally the news hit them, and of course they were all incredibly sad because Dr. Miñarro was very close to all the players. He attended every training session. He was there in every match, including away matches. So this news hit very hard in the locker room, and as such, Barcelona decided to postpone the match. Joan Laporta immediately met with the Royal Spanish Football Federation and La Liga, who all agreed that yes, the match should be postponed. Now, Joan Laporta did have some words after this tragedy broke out, or this news of this tragedy broke out, stating the following. I would like to announce on behalf of FC Barcelona the death of the first team doctor, Carlos Miñarro, a man much loved by everyone, who passed away this afternoon at the team's training camp. As you can imagine, the players, the staff, the coach were all very sad, and there was a huge sadness. We all loved him very much. He came to all the away games to look after all the players, and he never said no to anyone. He was a great doctor and a great professional. We had to ask for the postponement. The players were very affected, and out of respect for Carlos Miñarro, his family, and all the staff and coach and fellow board members, we thought that the best thing was to postpone the match. I would like to thank everyone who was responsible for this decision, for their understanding, because I think we did the best thing and made the right decision. So rest in peace, Dr. Carlos Miñarro Garcia. My condolences to his family, to all the players, and everyone who was close and loved Dr. Miñarro. Now on to the next news, because Xavi Hernandez has spoken out for the first time since being sacked as Barcelona's manager. This interview was given to L'Equipe, the French media outlet, where Xavi Hernandez discussed several things, including he reflected back on his time as a Barcelona manager, saying the following. If you look at our record, and I include my coaching staff with me, it's very positive, because the club was in one of the worst periods in history, perhaps even worse than the beginning of the millennium. The expectations were very high because of my history with Barcelona. Maybe my deep emotional connection to the club hurt me at times. I was too emotional at times, but this experience was a real learning experience for me. So Xavi Hernandez reflecting back at his time as manager, saying that it was actually very positive, which of course I disagree, and you already know my reasons why I disagree. I've talked about this multiple times, so I'm not going to bore you again. And then of course saying that the expectations were very high because of his history with the club, and also admitting that maybe he was too emotional and that led him to make some mistakes. And I don't think the expectations were necessarily high because he's Xavi Hernandez. I think the expectations are always high for anyone who comes and coaches Barcelona. After all, it's one of the biggest clubs in the world, and when you manage one of the biggest clubs in the world, you're always going to have very, very high expectations. And then Xavi then saying about him being emotional and that perhaps affected him negatively. And I think in some points, I do agree with this. I think Xavi Hernandez's attachment to the club did make him do some mistakes. For example, not setting boundaries. I think that was a big no-no that I discussed in the past. For example, we saw Joan Laporta so many times go into the locker room to talk to the players. Joan Laporta go into the field, to the training field to talk to the players. And I always said that I didn't like that, right? Because I think as a coach, you always have to set boundaries and say, look, the training field, the locker room, that's my domain. I rule there. If you have a problem with me, we'll talk in your office. Maybe you come to my office, but you don't talk to my players, right? And I think that's a boundary that every coach needs to set. And Xavi never did, maybe because, he felt like Laporta was not just his boss, but more of a close friend. So I do see why Xavi would say that his attachment to the club made him make some mistakes. Of course, there's all the times that he got angry, he got red carded. Again, that probably came from his love to the club, which did not help, which is kind of counterintuitive. You think something, a love for a club would make you a better coach, but I guess sometimes it could also affect your judgment. Now, Xavi Hernandez also admitted some mistakes to his tactical approach to the team when he said the following: I admit I made some mistakes in management. Busquets' departure forced us to rethink our style of play. I chose to play with a midfield of 3 attacking players, but it wasn't always the best option. Beyond the titles, I feel proud to have trusted a new generation like Fermín López, Lamine Yamal, Pau Cubarsí, and Alejandro Balde. They represent the future of the club. So Xavi Hernandez admitting that he did make some tactical mistakes, for example, using 3 attacking midfielders, which I think it wasn't there's more to that. I think a big mistake was that the team never really had an identity. The team never really had a system that they adopted and made it their own. I think that was a bigger mistake than using 3 attacking midfielders, which in retrospect, it's a bit surprising, right? Because we're talking about Xavi Hernandez, one of the greatest midfielders in the history of Barca, one of the greatest midfielders in the history of football, period. He obviously knows what he's talking about when it comes to tactics. I mean, we've heard him speak. He obviously knows what he's talking about. Plus, he came up through the Barcelona Academy, so he obviously knows the Barca DNA. He played his whole career at Barcelona under some of the greatest coaches like Pep Guardiola. He won everything there is to win. So he obviously knows what he's talking about when it comes to tactics. But for some reason, that never translated to the players. I think there was always a gap between what Xavi envisioned in his head, what Xavi explained, versus what was being applied on the field. And maybe that was a lack of experience as a coach that caused this disconnect between theory and application. I don't know, honestly, but Xavi does admit to making some mistakes in his tactical approach. Now, Xavi Hernandez also reflected on his arrival as Barcelona's coach when he said the following: Barcelona contacted me twice before Laporta contacted me, but I didn't feel ready yet. My first year and a half at Barcelona was very good. We had a project with Matteo Alemany and Jordi Cruyff. It allowed us to finish the league in second place, then win the league and the Spanish Super Cup. But after that, the results declined. The departure of Jordi Cruyff and Matteo Alemany was a huge blow. Now, this is an interesting statement here because, as you know, there were a lot of rumors when Xavi was coach that there was friction between him and Deco. And I think here, directly or indirectly, Xavi does admit to that because he's saying when Jordi Cruyff and Alemany left, that was a huge blow. And of course, who replaced Cruyff and Alemany was Deco. So it seems like there is some truth to those rumors that there was friction between Xavi and Deco. Not to mention that Deco did do some things that Xavi did not agree with. For example, bringing Joao Felix, Joao Cancelo, 2 players that Xavi never asked for, but yet Deco brought them to him. So it looks like there is truth to that whole rumors that there was friction between the Barcelona manager and the sporting director. Now, Xavi Hernandez discussed how he developed as a manager by saying the following: in Qatar, coaches like Massimiliano Allegri, Pep Guardiola, and Hansi Flick visited us. I attended several coaching conferences which helped me develop. There, I discovered a different football, far from Cruyff's principles. Some coaches favored counterattacks, low defense blocks, zonal marking, and quick transitions, which were things I had never been trained in before in my career. This made me think about my own vision of football. When you are a coach, you have to master all aspects of the game: transitions, set pieces, which account for almost a quarter of goals worldwide, according to a FIFA study, and the physical side. Now, Xavi Hernandez also went on to talk more about tactics and things that he's learned and he's observed, like what coaches he likes to watch. And again, just goes to show that obviously in his head, Xavi knows exactly what he's talking about. I think he has a pretty clear vision of how he would like his teams to play. But unfortunately, for some reason or other, that never translated into action, which again, it could be just lack of experience. Maybe in the future, as he gains more experience and becomes a better coach, he'll be able to apply the theory that he has in his mind to actual on the field, which of course would mean, better results, because again, there was always a disconnect between theory and application. Now, finally, Xavi Hernandez was asked, is there a specific league he wants to go to next? What are his next plans? And this is what the coach had to say. No, I'm open. Why not coach another team in La Liga? I'm looking for an exciting project, and I have the ambition to win titles. That's the main goal. I would be open to different offers. Why not also coach a national team and participate in the World Cup qualifiers? So Xavi Hernandez saying, well, he's pretty much open to going anywhere, any league, maybe even a national team. As you know, Xavi Hernandez did take a year sabbatical after being sacked from Barcelona. That year is up in the summer, and Xavi reportedly has already started talks with other clubs. So we'll see where the Barcelona or the former Barcelona coach will head next. And as always, I want to hear you guys' thoughts and opinions. What do you think about this interview that Xavi has given? Let me know down below in the comments section. Now, that is all for this video. We'll be uploading another video after this one, so stay tuned to the channel. Don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, drop a comment, and as always, peace, Barca.